I thought it was cool to be a part of it. I mean, honestly, like I said, I just enjoy doing them just for getting people involved. And like I've given away lychees, I've given away lily whites, I've given away gargoyle geckos, I've given away quite a few animals.
Howdy, folks. Brian Kusko here at Redline Report, and today we're going to sit down with my buddy Carlos of Limited Edition Geckos Company, and we're going to talk to him about how his passion grew into a business and his goal of not wanting that business to overcome the initial passion that got him into it, and also how he built an amazing Instagram following organically by doing the things he loves. So, without any further ado, you're watching Redline Report. So, how long you got a pretty decent following going on Instagram? Like you got like 12,000 something right now happening. And how long have been working with reptiles, and how did you get into them?
Well, it started really like a hobby back in like 2009, 2010, around that range, and I just got a few crested geckos this past, and it just kind of took off from there. It really didn't start getting serious up until like 2014 is when my collection really started expanding. So I like started picking up more crested geckos, started getting the lychees, gargoyle geckos, chahua. I even got a pair of lesser rough-snouted geckos, kind of diversifying myself a little bit. I've always had reptiles as a kid, but as far as like making it more serious as I got older, I started really enjoying them. So, and then in 2014, like I had a chain of events in life, as we all do. I just really decided that I really wanted to put my focus into them, and I started just building my collection from there.
Okay. Um, and what was it you think that, like, why did you decide you wanted to start growing it into something more than, like, is this full time for you? Like, what?
Right now, it's currently full time, but
It
it's
is.
not really at the point where it's like sustainable. So I'm still looking for work on the side here and there, and I'm doing this when I can. As far as sales go, it's like up and down right now, but that's just part of the industry.
Sure.
But as far as making it a full time endeavor, I would like that, but there's some things I want to work out before I really consider that long term. So right now, it's more of a side thing.
Okay. Okay. What do you do full time then?
Well, right now I'm currently in the job market, so I'm
Okay,
just
gotcha.
looking, keeping my options open,
Gotcha.
and going to school, and just kind of
Okay.
pacing myself right now.
Cool, man. Where are you out of?
Colorado Springs.
Okay, so you're local here then.
hmm
Okay. Did you go do you vend many other shows?
So we do the Repticon shows and occasionally the Show Me Reptile shows.
Okay. Cool, man. Um, what is your goal with like like what would you say you get out of working with reptiles, and if you're not getting that, what do you want out of working with reptiles?
Honestly, for me personally, it's a therapy. I just enjoy working with the animals. It's not so much about the money or how much money I can make in a single year and whatnot. It's just more or less I enjoy working with the animals, and they became kind of a passion project. And when that time frame of unfortunate events happened, they became my main focus, and they kind of helped me through a lot of that.
Mm.
So it's for me, it's just more about the animals, and I really enjoy working with them. As far as like future plans and whatnot, I don't really know at this point. I just kind of going with the flow and seeing where it takes me.
Okay, that's cool, man. So like you just find like a piece, like working with them, just like interacting with them, cleaning up after them is just like, so it's kind of therapeutic for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I can't keep everyone realistically, so that's when finding them homes becomes a priority, and that's where the business comes into play. Because while I get the opportunity to continue my work and continue trying different things and different pairings and experimenting a little bit, and at the same point in time, I can move animals to help sustain the others that I keep.
And what does that look like for you? Like, how do you find homes for animals, and like, what does that look like?
I mean, the reptile shows, online sales. We have a website, Instagram inquiries, um, Facebook inquiries, so on. Just kind of keep it simple.
And how long have you been doing that? So how long have you been? I think you said 2014 was when you started doing shows.
No, I've been doing shows. I started acquiring a collection. I was a hobbyist up until just the last couple of years.
Gotcha.
Then my collection reached a point where, all right, now it just makes sense to become a business and to help sustain everything else that is living with us at this point.
Gotcha. So where would you say the majority of like your business it happens? Is it kind of a spread out thing, like Instagram, Facebook, website, all over the place, or is
hmm
there one spot that?
It's mostly online, morph market, stuff like that.
Okay.
Occasionally I'll get inquiries online, and we kind of go from there. Or the shows is where I make up a bulk of that as well.
How did you start building all that? Did you do all at once, like your Instagram, for example? I mean, 12,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Like, what was the process of like getting that happen? Did you start posting pictures of your geckos and it just
So I got really heavy into photography as well. Like I'm self-taught, and I learned a lot of like product photography stuff on my own. I had a little bit of help in the beginning from a close friend. You know, she kind of went through a couple of things with me, showed me the basics, and I just kind of kept learning and building on there. And then I did a lot of giveaways where I would just basically do little photo challenges where I would have people take photos and submit them for a chance to win a gecko, and I would send them a gecko. I did that for a lot of time, a lot years.
that's
I
awesome,
still
man.
do that from time to time, but it's just I haven't done one yet this year. You know, to be decided. I
Gotcha.
probably will do one at some point once we get past the snow and this weird weather where it's cold, and that way shipping's not an issue, and I could just send it out.
So you took so photography is a passion of yours, and you kind of merge those together, and then doing the giveaways. I think that was awesome. You give people, and then you pull people into what you're passionate about by asking them to engage in photography,
Mhm.
and then like be able to like take your own love for that and like pick apart people's photos and like get people excited on. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool.
The whole goal with it was just to get people engaged.
Yeah,
Like I love photography. I love doing all kinds of photography, automotive photography, reptile photography. I've done portrait work. I've done a few weddings. I've done a lot of things because I just really enjoy doing it. And you know, reptiles kind of make that very easy, and I love taking pictures of geckos whenever I have the opportunity. And it's just getting people involved in that was is nice, and just being able to give away an animal just for taking a picture is I think that's pretty cool. I have the ability to do it, and I like doing them. So it's like it led to a follower account. Just as a result of that, I'm grateful for every single one. It's just I wasn't expecting it to blow up the way it did, but I'm grateful to be a part of it.
yeah, it's awesome, man. Well, that's something that's been a theme of a lot of folks I've been talking to just recently. Like, just do something that you enjoy and you do it because you enjoy it, and then people are naturally attracted to that because you actually enjoy. You don't have like some hidden agenda behind it. You just enjoy doing it, and that naturally it brings people in. And because that was just kind of I'm sure you just thought of that. You're just like, oh, pictures. I love taking pictures. I've sent people. I love geckos. I want people to like geckos, and just it all just kind of organically came about, and then it kind of builds from there. It's really cool to see that happen for you.
I thought it was cool to be a part of it. I mean, honestly, like I said, I just enjoy doing them just for getting people involved. And like, I've given away lychees, I've given away lily whites, I've given away gargoyle geckos, I've given away quite a few animals. And I do that just casually as a regular thing anyway. Like, not every animal that leaves the facility is always sold. Sometimes they'll be like, all right, well, hey, I have this gecko. Here's your first gecko, or just at random, here's a gecko. And I've like when I was early on in my breeding, I that's a lot of what it was, just giving away geckos. Like, hey, I have too many. Here, take one. And I made a lot of friends via doing that. So it was worth it. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, and it's for the love of the hobby that you're doing it, right? To
Yep.
spread that out. Obviously, you're not like I'm not trying to make a buck off this. I just
Nope.
want you to enjoy it like I do.
And a lot of people do giveaways, so I just try to be atypical about it. Like I want, other than just tagging people and what do you call it, posting it all over the place. So I want you to just take a photo of your animal for a chance to win. And if your photo ends up in the lineup, I'll get a group of my friends, me included, and we'll kind of go through. We'll select three of them, and it's not usually just one animal. It's usually like three prizes. Sometimes I've given away two animals or three animals, so it's like it varies. I kind of switch it up every time. Or, for example, it'll be an animal, and I'll go to the pet store and I'll buy a ledge, a bag of Pangea, and then I'll basically offer that and I'll ship it out to the winners.
Yeah,
And it's just for fun.
yeah, it's cool, man. I like to see that. Some of my favorite stories in this hobby are some of the stories like that. I was talking last summer to Craig Trumbauer, who does a lot with colubrids, and he had a kid at his table, that was looking at some snakes he had that were pretty expensive, and the kid was like just super stoked about them, but didn't really have any money, and was just like, oh man, how cool would it be to have that, and just kind of, and Craig was like, well, here, you have it,
Yeah.
and they're now like lifelong friends. That kid is now, a zookeeper who is in his 50s, and they're they've been lifelong friends from that. So I love those stories. And when you're doing that, I'm sure some of those relationships have already formed and will likely continue on for like a lifelong thing.
As long as they'll have me. I mean, that's all I can say. It's like Like my door's pretty much open to anyone. Like you want to have a conversation, you want to talk, you want to ask me questions about geckos. Even if you don't buy from me, I'll still take the time. I'll talk to you. I'll go over things with you. I'll give you advice from just based off of my experience and what I've seen with my own collection. It's like I'm not above that. Like anyone, it doesn't matter if you buy from me or not. If you reach out to me with a question or you need advice, if I have a way to help, I will. There's no strings attached to any of that.
That's good, man. That's. I don't like to tell people how they should do it, but that's the way that I think you should do it. Is just like that. Like, there shouldn't be some like weird gatekeeping thing where you got to do this or pay this fee to jump in. And I realize
No.
also people have time, but like if you really are doing this because you enjoy it, then you will enjoy spreading the love of it to somebody else by helping spread knowledge to them about any whatever your species is or whatever it is that you enjoy about it, and whatever will help them be successful in keeping an animal.
I mean, we all have busy lives.
Sure.
I mean, but it's all a matter of priorities. If you see a message come through and you're sitting there and you're just scrolling through Instagram, what should you do in that case? Ignore the message and say you don't have time for it, or take the time and answer it.
Mm.
Doesn't matter what it is. It could be an absurdly ridiculous question. Just make the time and answer it. Like no matter how big or small. Like I know where I started. I'll always remember where I started and where I came from in life. And no matter where this goes or where this takes me, I'll still hold on to all that because at the end of the day, it's like we're all here for a reason, and it all involves the animals. Money aside, business aside, all that aside, it all starts with the animals. A lot of times we get lost in business-related things or financial things, and some people lose sight of that. And it's important that you know you never lose sight of that. You keep. It's about the animals at the end of the day. And as much as you need to make money as a business, it's not always about the money.
Yeah. Well, if your animals aren't doing well and you're not caring for them properly, then the business isn't going to succeed anyway. So.
And that's another byproduct of that.
Yeah.
And it's like there's and the animals still need to find homes at the end of the day. You gotta go with the flow of the market, and markets like this, you gotta make decisions, especially if you have too many. If you don't have the proper space or proper environment to house that animal, and you're just kind of keeping it in one little space. It's like what's more fair to the animal, finding it a home at a more reasonable cost, or holding on to it until you get your X amount of dollars or whatever it is you're looking for.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's more or less why my focus now is consolidating and refocusing on more priority projects instead of trying to produce X amount of geckos a year. I just want to focus on producing quality geckos, and that's just more or less my long-term focus at this stage.
Well, can you? I know where I can find you, but can you let everybody know that if they want to follow along with everything you're doing, where can they find you?
So Limited Edition Geckos, we're mostly on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube. Haven't done a whole lot with that as of yet. Still kind of working on it. But Instagram is where we pretty much live. So if you need to reach out to me there, you can find me there. We also have a website, which the link is on the Instagram as well. More or less, if you need anything, you can find me there.
Awesome.
Happy to help you, even if you don't buy it from me. I'll still give you my time, go over gecko questions with you, pairing ideas, whatever it may be. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
Awesome, Carlos.
Like
Hey,
that.
man, I appreciate you taking time to come sit down with me, brother. Thank you guys again, as always, for tuning in. Please go follow Carlos on Instagram if you're not already. Limited Edition Geckos Company. All the links will be in the description for you to find him successfully. And next week, right back here on the Redline Report, you will find us. And we'll see you then. Y'all take care.
I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to keep that long term because I thought it was like a really nice camera. I really enjoy shooting with it, but after having it for a bit, I'm like, why did I buy this?
Then maybe I need to, but the quality definitely shows up. Like, I just did my first node color grade using DaVinci last week, and whether or not anybody else can tell, I can tell. I look at them like, oh, dude, that footage is just crisp, and the colors are so nice, and yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years now, and I feel like I'm just gonna start scratching the surface again on what's possible with video stuff. So.
Nice.